Hey guys, it's Dr. Brent Baldasare here. I have a special guest for you today. It's the author of The Maker's Diet. He sold 1.6 million copies. He's got over a dozen top sellers to his name. It's Dr. Jordan Rubin. I'm more than excited to have a sit-down interview, and I'm thrilled to death that he agreed to do this with us. So without further ado, Dr. Jordan Rubin, I'd like you to introduce yourself.
It's great to be here. I am very passionate about transforming the health of this nation and world one life at a time, but like many, I started out of my own tragedy, my own trial. I was deathly ill about 15 years ago. I had Crohn's disease, rheumatoid arthritis, chronic fatigue syndrome, fungal, bacterial, viral infections, and I went into a wheelchair. I was 20 years of age, down to 104 pounds, and I'm almost 6'1".
Wow. I remember seeing this picture. When I first saw Patient Heal Thyself, and there's that picture of you who doesn't even look like any remotely close to you, and then you, is that a 4-month difference?
It was actually 3 months, but when I found the answer, and I knew this was going to happen, I went to 69 medical experts, traveled the world, I tried conventional medicine. Now, I have an upbringing with chiropractic, naturopathy, so we didn't believe in pharmaceuticals and surgery, but I was so sick I had no choice. Medicine failed. Natural cures failed. 69 medical experts came and went. One told me after the end of a 2-year struggle, I call it a living hell, that I was trapped in my own body that was a prison. He told me if I follow a health plan based on the Bible, proven through history and confirmed by science, I can be well. Something told me that this illness was not just about me, that God doesn't waste my pain, and I flew to California in a wheelchair to live with a man I never met, following principles I never learned, and in 40 days, what I'd later call the Maker's Diet 40-day health experience, I went from death to life, and I've been sharing the message ever since.
It's incredible. It really is incredible. I don't know if you know much about my story, but I was paralyzed on the football field at 21.
Wow.
So, I thought that God had a plan for me going down one path, and all of a sudden, what turned out, which I thought was a tragic day, turned out to be one of the best things that ever happened to me. When I read your story and read, your first couple of books, what really struck me is at what point did you say that I have a bigger purpose here? I have a bigger message here. What did that feel like, and how did you get motivated to kind of move into the direction you're going now?
Well, being a similar age as you when tragedy struck, I was 19 years of age, and I'd always remember reading and believing that God had plans for my life, plans to prosper me and not to harm me, to give me a future and a hope. And here I am sitting in a wheelchair, deathly ill, being told by doctors I'm incurable, being told by WebMD that I'll have this list of surgeries, medications, side effects. My friends didn't come around anymore. My family was broken. So it was a challenge. But I remember thinking, okay, I'm an immortal teenager. Now I'm not. I can't be the only one suffering. There's got to be people out there suffering. And I thought, God doesn't waste our pain. And if He will get me out of this, if I can be well, I'm going to spend the rest of my life telling other people how to avoid disease or overcome it. And so it was really, I had no other choice. I mean, I knew I was sick. Whatever helped me was going to get out there. But I'm so glad it's something that anybody could follow, as opposed to the gadgets, gizmos, potions that I tried, because desperate times do require desperate measures.
Yeah, no. Is that the moment in your life when it was kind of the birthplace in your mind for Garden of Life, or how did Garden of Life kind of come in?
Well, first of all, my wellness was really catalyzed by me asking my mom to take that picture. I just recently, before coming here to this taping, I was speaking in front of a women's group, a faith-based group, and I explained that one instant, that one flash of a camera, that 8 steps I took from my bedroom to my parents' closet when I was sick, had no hope, but I had faith. That photograph has meant so much to so many. I mean, I travel the world and I've seen people deficient in vitamins, minerals, and essential fatty acids, but hope is the greatest deficiency. And when that photograph was taken, I knew that I had proof, no matter what anybody would say, that should I get well, God delivered me from near death to life. Garden of Life really became a vision of mine during the 40-day health experience. But God really showed me 2 things. Number 1, food is what heals us. Number 2, our food freedoms that were already difficult back then are going to get worse. We're going to have less access to good food. That's why I was in California, because I could get the healthy dairy, meat, and juices where they're illegal in other states. I've said to myself, once I started eating these foods, I'm going to get well now. One day I'm going to have a family. I'm going to have people that need to hear this message. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I'm going to have a hand in raising and growing the world's healthiest foods. But before that, I'm going to find a way to take the compounds and nutrients that help me and put them in a convenient form. It actually happened in the reverse. Garden of Life began after an article was written about me in a natural health magazine called the Townsend Letter. 2,000 phone calls, my dad's credit card, and a dream, my parents' friend's garage, and Garden of Life was born. Garden of Life went on to become a huge success, 67 countries. I wrote books that took me to 5 continents and 44 states, sharing the message. But little did I know that that was a stepping stone to the ultimate plan God had for my life, and that's Beyond Organic. And I realized that I'm not the only person who wants to know where my food comes from. I'm not the only one who has kids that I want to know that food doesn't just come from the grocery store or the health food store. I want them to see a pasture instead of just a concrete jungle. And I realized that most of us have a yearning inside to connect back with our roots. This country and this world was based on agriculture. God's economy is based on agriculture. It's been stolen from us, and we've got to get it back. And that's really the driving force behind this Beyond Organic mission.
You know, you hit on a couple of key things that I hear time and time again. Number one is that it's letting people have the confidence to know that the food that they put in their bodies is that powerful. And you're a living testament to that. One of the things you just said right now about how many, you have 3 children, right? My wife and I, we've got 3 children also. How do you find it with the organic food, and how much of a difference do you find in their life? You know, having them having organic foods and chemical-free foods and with no fillers and artificial sweeteners and dyes in there. Obviously, you know, have you seen a difference in the way your children are raised?
Well, it's a huge difference. I have 1 biological son and I have 2 adopted children, a son and a daughter. And so if you look at the 4 biological parents for my little ones, all teenagers, drugs, abuse. My daughter's biological mother died of a drug overdose less than 6 months ago. So if you look at what they've been handed, the genetics, my daughter's biological father's in prison and he only finished 5th grade and is illiterate. So you look at what they've been handed. In fact, my daughter, when we were about to adopt her, the other parents in line dropped out because the father they thought was bipolar and they were concerned that it would be passed down to their daughter. And my thought was, what a great opportunity to provide nutrients to nourish their brains. I had gone on a tour for 6 months around America in 2008 to promote a book called Perfect Weight America. I didn't know we were going to adopt kids. I came home 1 day a week and the first 3 hours were spent making infant formula for both of my babies with 14 ingredients in a blender and thanking God that as a father I could have that type of participation. So when you say, has it made a difference, it's meant everything. I mean, I shudder to think what would happen to these children if already you get a bad start in life and you don't consume these foods. But it's not just organic, it's not just chemical free. I have traveled the world and I go to back alleys, to co-ops, I go to farmers markets to get foods for these kids. And Beyond Organic is going to help others not have to do that. People don't understand how to read a label. No parent doesn't want the best for their kids. The problem is, with $10 billion a year being spent on advertising junk food during cartoon hour, is it hopeless? I don't believe so. I believe those people that want to make a difference can. And probably the greatest impetus to do this is for the generation coming up that, according to statistics, 1 out of 3 children born after the year 2000 will develop diabetes. We already know autism now in boys is 1 out of 66. It used to be 1 out of 5,000. It was 1 out of 100,000. The Bible says, straight is the gate and narrow is the path that leads to life, I believe health, and few find it. People say, Jordan, will America be healthy? Will we get it? The answer is no. We've put things in motion that I believe will make it impossible for everybody to eat and live the way they want to. But that small group who is inspired and motivated can do it, and that's who we cater to. We want you to know where your food comes from, know how to prepare it, how to find it, and then deliver it to you from our farm to your family.
Well, I don't know how many people watch this really understand, who are outside maybe the health and wellness industry. I'm a health insider. You're obviously a health insider. You're a leader in this movement. I don't know if all the viewers can actually appreciate what you've actually done for this profession, this movement towards organic and wellness and whole foods. How is putting Beyond Organic together kind of fulfilling that next step in the vision that you have?
Well, it's really an endpoint for me. It starts out in my own life. Whenever people say, Jordan, well, why did you formulate this product? Why did you create this food? I said, because I needed it for me. I gave a message this morning on how do you know if you're called? And there were 5 points, but the 5th was, when someone asks you, why are you doing this? The answer should be, because nobody else did. And if nobody else is doing something that needs to be done, you need to do it. And so I feel like, first of all, it's education is the key. People need to understand how to buy their food, understand the labels, understand what's behind it, know how to prepare it. And so education's the key, and we are taking the areas where people mess up the most, namely animal foods and beverages, and finding the healthiest examples. We don't want to be your whole diet. We want to be a significant part of the areas where it's difficult to find the right food.
That's really where kind of this my questions want to go towards now is, I've looked over Beyond Organic. It looks amazing. I love what you're saying. You know how the cows have been fed and green fed. I'd like to talk a little about green fed in a second, but with Beyond Organic, how would that apply to the average American family? How do you envision the average person fitting Beyond Organic into their lifestyle and into their menu?
Well, first of all, it's very convenient because we deliver the foods directly from our farms to your family. Now, some people say, well, I'd rather buy at the grocery store. And we're not replacing a grocery store. I still am going to recommend certain foods people consume, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds. We're not going to do everything, but I promise you, I've traveled America and even the world. Agriculture, particularly livestock, is being done wrong. There's a need to do something that brings our health back to our roots hundreds, if not thousands of years ago. And the average person is not healthy. They're actually in a state of unwellness. And if you're that person who says, I can't tolerate dairy, meat doesn't sit well with me, you're a little bit overweight, whatever your situation is, we're going to introduce foods to you that you can tolerate, thrive by consuming, and you'll know what you're giving your kids because there's one place it comes from. It's not coming from thousands of places. It's not mistreated and chemicalized, if you will. It is food that we are producing similar to how it's been for thousands of years. And I don't believe that we're the only ones that can do this. I hope that we have 10,000 competitors in the very near future. The day we do, I'll be the happiest guy out there. But for now, we are creating things that have not been available in this country ever and haven't been available worldwide in hundreds of years.
So right now, in the past couple of weeks, we've done a lot of research as far as pesticides and antibiotics and hormones in our meat. Is Beyond Organics the main staple I keep seeing is most of the beef products, the raw cheeses and milks. What's really worth it for the average American family and does it cost more than what you pay at the grocery store, but to actually get organic grain-fed meat?
Well, first of all, I had a saying that I've quoted many times. Either you pay the farmer more now or the doctor more later.
Oh, I got to tell you right now, my wife is going to step on my foot. It's one of the quotes that she uses all the time. We just shopped at Whole Foods. Yep. We got a $500 bill, and I looked at her and she said, "You either pay the farm now or pay the pharmacy later." It's exactly what you just said.
There it is. It's important to understand what we're spending money on. Most people spend the bulk of their life savings in the last few years of their life treating illness. I do believe that what we're doing is premium. I'll give you an example. We create dairy products from a unique genetic that we believe make them highly tolerable. We culture them, so like a yogurt or a kefir, but we're doing it in a way that's been done for thousands of years, inspired by an African beverage called a masi. The animals are fed only greens and treated so well that they only produce the milk that they're genetically capable of. So just to give you an example, an organic cow could produce 53 pounds of milk a day. That's average. Okay. A Beyond Organic cow likely will produce 15 to 20. So if you want to know why our products are premium, we are utilizing the cows only to their genetic capability.
Say this again. So a commercial cow can produce how much milk?
An organic cow can produce, the average cow produces 53 pounds of milk a day, and a gallon is 8.623. So if you think about it, you're looking at over 6 gallons a day. Okay. We're getting between 2 to 3 gallons. So our milk is already twice as scarce as what's out there. Why? Because cattle were not meant to eat grain. A grain-based agriculture can allow massive amounts of dairy to be produced long beyond the genetics the cow is capable of. We want the cattle to produce the milk that they are naturally able to. We want it to be highly nutrient dense. We want it to have all the vitamins and minerals. We don't believe in skimming.